Hi. Time for the Disney Ghost Stories. This edition will be about J-Lo, the Jennifer Lopez, whose actual name is Malka Khrushchev, by the way, who's here in the U.S. Russian woman, part of the Russian FSB, long history of open slavery advocacy, and actually someone that has used Russian systems to pull people into labor trafficking here in the U.S. That means to make them work without pay and against their will and in unstable, harmful conditions. So, big-time labor trafficker, still free in the U.S. As you know, she notoriously killed people with P. Diddy. And that spent like literally half a night in jail. Well, P. Diddy was forced to stay far longer in jail. And then, of course, they both got free, right? Well, recently, then, P. Diddy, of course, has been arrested again for the infamous freak-off White House parties. I say White House because there was a problem with White House parties in the D.C. area when I lived there. That DHS had to break up. Unfortunately, the FBI was behind a lot of those, which is why you still see Chris Wray being interrogated pretty regularly for Congress, basically. As far as I'm concerned about the situation, I think it's been an awful lot to ask me as someone who's a victim of labor trafficking by these people, who was literally picked up and taken out of their home at times through strikes, and literally picked up in airplanes and taken across the country to be abused and also be forced to work for free on pounds. Frankly, forced to abused to work on songs, to sing, all that. I don't think you can imagine anything much more ghastly than the stuff I've been through in person trying to be a victim. And the fact that my mother was abused to death, that J-Lo spent years telling me to work for free, promising she would kill my mom, and went ahead with killing her and raping her to death, basically. Yeah, she did. And I'm just supposed to say nothing about it? Because that was the hardest part about living in the DC area for a really long time, that I just wasn't supposed to be able to say anything about it. I was supposed to express my opinion to anyone. And it took a really long time before I was actually able to do that. It took until the 2010s. That's how much control she had. That's how much control the Russian government had over the U.S. government. So I want you to happen because the U.S. really was in danger at one point, thanks to the failures of the FBI, and thanks to whatever else has been going on, or the fact that the FBI was just always a Russian organization. The fact that it was always an issue, that they never really supported civil rights in the U.S., which is what the country's basically founded on. Liberty. So, what we need to talk about more recently is that Nicki Minaj has gone through a poisoning recently, and years ago, J-Lo / Blanca had threatened me that she was going to poison Nicki Minaj. I don't know why anybody would want to poison Nicki Minaj. Apparently she doesn't support slavery and doesn't support child abuse because she got away from a man who was giving a child abuser, and so now she's being bullied. I reference that because it's a pop event that you can see and point to. The stuff I know about from my investigations, and you really don't know me much beyond my investigative reporting, which I've, it turned out some pretty seminal pieces, especially in economics, but the reality is there are some other people you know a little better, or feel like you know a little better. That's a lot of people, right? The truth is that a lot of Hollywood is just fake fronting people that are just part of organized crime, which is why they don't have the ability to write their own songs. Dua Lipa can't sing or write, but she really can't dance. She could write songs if she had to. The fact that a friend of mine who was an experienced professional finally said to me in my 30s, he said, Deborah, this trafficking's going to end because these people have no talent or ability at all, and jail doesn't take anything to give her free, just to say no. We said, it's exactly the situation. Now, at this point, you might as well tell her just go wear a poop emoji on her head. Pretty much it. Matt Damon. Yeah, I knew Matt Damon growing up. We talked about this in the previous episode. I didn't realize he was Kevin, like by the name Tim Words. He always had this big fantasy that he was going to turn all these people in, and then one day that, he would be seen as some kind of a savior because J-Lo would then be held accountable. J-Lo's not being arrested. And all I gotta say to him and some of these other guys is, you have had an awful lot of fun making money off of this woman's crazy narcissism and her position in the Russian KGB, now called the FSB of Russia. And she has spent a huge amount of money to look like an idiot over the past year, but that's really not enough. And as one of your own said over the winter to me, she said it's all just dogging. I said, you're right, it is just dogging. She really does have to be arrested. Like, we can't just keep dressing her up in stupid outfits and putting her through stupid projects and blowing her money while she squats in houses and is a crazy labor trafficker who's openly pro-slavery. she really has to be arrested and put in prison, either in the U.S. or in Russia or elsewhere. This is a person who had me raped and beaten when I was in school or college, and who took recordings of my voice to use as her own. I've sang for you on here was a pretty popular piece, but I don't think of anything more disgusting and scary than a woman who doesn't wash herself and has such a being and rape and openly pro-slavery and then put into the charge of the Met Gala. People, I'm done with the Met Gala, the Academy Awards, the Grammys, all of it, because they have too many people at them that are in favor of trafficking and attracting too many of us here in the West. And frankly, having a problem even in my time when they were I mean, it'd be nice if they would just stay in Hollywood, out of California, where they supposedly live, but they don't. They stalk people, they attack them, they steal from them, all over the country. Tyson's Galleria was hit by her man, Buffalo Bill. A bunch of the stores down there were hit, and then he went and put her in one of the dresses he slept on the floors for the event she went to in Toronto recently, in the last few weeks. Or stolen dress, right there. Bam. I know about this because of all the time and investigations work I did. I can't believe he went through with it, but obviously he decided to somehow start turning them all in because he spent so much time doing work for them. And they're clearly just going to blame him for all of it. He's basically a hit. And maybe the same would be said for P. that he's probably just going to turn it because of his position and what he's going to do. Because he was pretty thoroughly abused by Will when I lived in Wisconsin. So I would say that's enough for this episode, but I want you to remember that, TMZ, for example, total front group starvishers, who all know nothing reporters true. Anyone who's reporting to you is a Bill and Ben Affleck had a real relationship isn't telling you the truth. You're not getting real information. Supposedly Matt Damon has come out in one of the lesser-known New York publications is more honest and said that he's decided he's done with J-Lo, which is disgusting and sick, and Ben Affleck apparently is okay. So I hope they do it and really stick with that. I hope they do the right thing and actually turn in whatever evidence they have, because they clearly have more than enough insurance on it. And I've heard as much as I can, but I'm just one person who's kind of forward dealing with it all and putting my life back together. By the way, this shirt that I'm wearing with this little symbol on it, the symbol on it was designed for me by a friend. I've been using a golf event here several years ago. We planned this episode out in advance. Jayla knew back in Luther that I'd eventually put my own show on YouTube. I do some work on OnlyFans, which took very much. She was pretty upset about it. I said, well, it's too bad because I'm going to make it through all of it. I'm going to be away from you. And I'm going to do this episode up at the beach in Michigan in a cute pink polo shirt. So have a good one. Oh, and also, it's Pride Day. Pride Parade was this evening. It was cute. We're here in Traverse City, so best wishes. Have a good one. And this has been another episode of Simply Dating Ghost Stories. I'm J-Lo, who needs to be arrested. Yes, she does. Yes, she does.